Students, welcome to the DSP, that is the Digital Signal Processing course. In this course we have learned various things like introduction to the DSP, what exactly the DSP block contains. So as well as we have seen the real and complex valued signal. This is nothing but the basic elements for the DSP system. Next we have seen the role of quantization in ADC, the illustration with certain numericals, advantages of DSP over ASP, as well as we have seen the limitations and applications. In the last session we have seen the sampling and aliasing. So this is what the sampling and aliasing nature which we have seen. It means the higher frequencies are behaving like the lower frequency, so due to the overlapping nature, and the sampling theorem also we have seen. Now let's proceed to the frequency mapping and some of the numericals. So in case of the frequency mapping, it can be easily understood from this particular slide, which is taken from Prokis, that is the ebook. Here you can just bifurcate this entire thing to show what exactly the frequency mapping. So these are the two parts. In the left part we can observe that continuous time signals means ohm is nothing but the radians per second, capital F, it is nothing but in hertz. Similarly, regarding the discrete time signal, omega is nothing but radians per sample, and small f is nothing but cycles per sample. Now, if I want to convert, let's say, ohm into omega, then I will have to use this particular part. So omega is equal to ohm times t. So here capital T is nothing but the sampling time. Similarly, small f, this small f is equal to capital F by Fs. Now if you want to convert, let's say, the discrete time signal into the continuous time signal, then this second formula has to be used. So what is it? Ohm is equal to omega by t, or capital F is equal to F into Fs. So these are the frequency ranges. If let's say the ohm is minus infinity to plus infinity in continuous time signal, it can be written as simply minus pi by t to plus pi by t. So that is based on the omega itself, we can write it based on this equation. Similarly, if the capital F is ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, then here the capital F in terms of, let's say, the discrete time nature, it will be minus Fs by 2 to plus Fs by 2. So this is how the correlation can be done. Now let's see what exactly the next statement, that is the discrete time signal is omega is equal to pi or F is equal to 1 by 2. So it follows that with simple rate, with a sampling rate, sorry, Fs, the corresponding highest value of F and ohm are. F max will be obviously Fs by 2, which we have seen in the sampling theorem also. So this is something what called as a folding frequency also. So F max will be Fs by 2. So just put the value of Fs as a 1 by Ts or 1 by T. So it will become 1 upon 2T. Similarly, ohm max, it will be pi times Fs. So that can be verified from this particular statement. Ohm max is equal to pi times Fs. Now the thing here, if I put the value of Fs as 1 by T, that is pi by T. Now let's see the first numerical. Consider the analog signal. Since it is analog, the suffix over here, it is A. Xa of t is 3 times cos 100 pi t. Determine the minimum sampling rate required to avoid the aliasing. Now it is asked to find out the minimum sampling rate to avoid the aliasing. Let's check it bit by bit. So the answer for this one is, since it is the analog signal, it is represented in terms of the t. So I need to convert this in terms of the n. So that is what done over here. Let's say if we want to convert it in terms of the n, so x of n will be t into n ts. So right now, so it will be simply written as a 100 pi n, and TS can be calculated further. Now after comparing it with the omega, omega is nothing but equal to 2 pi f. So 2 pi f, this is what the right now the case with us. So for the omega, right now after comparison, it will be 100 pi for this particular statement. So 100 pi, so this left hand side will be like this. So pi and pi will be cancelled, so f will be obviously 100 by 2, so it will be 50. So based on this we can easily obtain the value, that is f will be 50 hertz. Hence the minimum sampling rate required to avoid the aliasing will be fs is equal to 50 into 2, that is 100 hertz. Now let's check for the second bit. Suppose that the signal is sampled at the rate fs is equal to 200 hertz. What is the discrete time signal obtained after sampling? Now the sampling frequency is given as a 200 hertz. So if it is 200 hertz, let's put the value in the equation, that is 3 cos 100 pi t. So t will be replaced by this particular statement, that is n by fs. So n by fs is 200. So this will give the value, that is 3 cos pi by 2 n. Similarly, in the third case, that is C, part C, suppose that the signal is sampled at the rate fs is equal to 75 hertz. What is the discrete time signal obtained after sampling? So fs is equal to 75 hertz. So obviously in the equation 3 cos 100 pi t, this time we need to put the value as a n by fs, means n by 75. So this will be the final result. If you want to simplify further, just rearrange the term in terms of the cos of 2 pi minus theta into n, so that you will get the final value as a 3 cos 2 pi by 3 n. Now let's proceed to the next example. In this particular example, again the analog signal is given, which is a combination of three parts or the three cosine waves. First is 3 cos 50 pi t, second is 10 sin 100 pi t plus cos 100 pi t. This is also plus. Now it is asked to find out Nyquist rate for this signal. So for finding the Nyquist rate, the formula is what? Fn is equal to, or Nyquist frequency, that is equal to what? Times f max. So from these three components we need to identify which is the maximum frequency component. So from the first component, f1 is nothing but 25 hertz. So after comparison of this particular statement, 50 pi is equal to 2 pi f. So it will give us cancellation of pi pi and 50 by 2, that is nothing but the value of capital F. So based on this we can justify that it is 25 over here, this will be 150 and this is 50. So these are the three frequency components present in the signal. So out of this, 150 is nothing but the maximum frequency component, that's why f max is 150 hertz. And according to the equation which we have seen for the Nyquist, or let's say the sampling frequency, fs is greater than twice f max. So just put the value of f max as a 150. So 2 into 150, that will be 300 hertz. Therefore the Nyquist rate in this case will be 300 hertz in short. So this is something which we can study, and one more conclusion which we can draw from this statement, that it should be observed that the signal component 10 sin 300 pi t sampled at the Nyquist rate Fn, that is 300 Hz, results in the sample 10 sin pi n which are identically 0. So obviously this is nothing but identically 0. In other words, we are sampling the analog sinusoid at its zero crossing points. So this is all about few numericals based on the sampling. In the next lecture again we will concentrate on few more numericals to understand exactly the sampling and how it can be applied to the different numericals to calculate the Nyquist rate or the Nyquist frequency. Thank you.